Ryan Cox, C-O-X. I am a lieutenant for the Sun Prairie Police Department. You guys hear everything okay?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right, well, thank you all for joining me this afternoon, for taking the time out of your day to come in and meet with me. I'm sorry for the delay from earlier this morning. And to give you a recap from what was released around 2 o'clock this morning, last night at approximately 10:16 p.m., we received a report, what initially came in as an assist ambulance for somebody that had suspected stab wounds inside the Walmart Supercenter. What we were able to gather as far as information for the responding officers pretty quickly from those that were inside the store was that it was actually an attack upon a victim that was still inside the store, and that the suspect had left in a vehicle. While officers were responding to the store, we were able to get an updated vehicle description, which was that of a silver sedan. As one of our first arriving officers got to West Main Street and O'Keefe Avenue, right over by Walmart, they were able to spot a matching vehicle with that description, attempted a traffic stop on that vehicle, which fled the attempted traffic stop onto Highway 151 southbound into Madison. That officer continued to pursue that vehicle all the way through Madison, where we had requested assistance from any responding neighboring agencies that we received. I just want to say again, thank you to those agencies that assisted us. Without them, we would not have been able to apprehend that suspect that quickly. We received assistance from Madison Police Department, Maple Bluff Police Department, and the Dane County Sheriff's Office. They were able to pursue the vehicle past Aberg Avenue all the way to East Washington and Brearley, where spikes had been deployed. They were successful. The vehicle was struck. It then subsequently crashed. Unfortunately, it did strike another bystander vehicle. Fortunately, at the time of the report last night and today, those occupants of that vehicle were not injured. The Madison Police Department took over that investigation for that portion of that crash. The suspect was then apprehended shortly following the subsequent crash from the spike deployment. Meanwhile, while the officers were pursuing the vehicle, other officers responded to Walmart, were able to ascertain where the victim was inside because of the fine work from the employees of Walmart directing them exactly where down the aisles to find him, and began providing life-saving measures. That including packing multiple wounds from our victim that suffered several stab wounds in multiple portions of his body. Sun Prairie paramedics were able to respond following that and take over life-saving measures where the victim was ultimately transported to an area hospital where he remains today in stable but critical condition. That is the majority of the incident and the update that I believe that I provided last night as well.
How fast was this car going when being chased, and how dangerous was that situation?
These situations are always dangerous, especially among a populated street like 151 into East Washington. That transition is always populated, so we have to take that into consideration every time. But because of the volatility of this attack, this is one of those situations where we are going to have to pursue. We cannot allow this person to get away and potentially harm another person. So the speeds on 151 that I've been able to be made aware of so far reached above 100 miles per hour, and then they subsequently started to slow down along East Washington as the construction narrowed the roadway and as the traffic picked up in density. The speeds still were going above 70 miles per hour up until the point where the vehicle was struck by the road spikes.
And Walmart confirmed that this was an associate at the store. Was there some kind of conflict that led up to this moment between the employee and the suspect, or do you believe it was totally random?
There was not a conflict that we've been able to identify as part of the criminal investigation thus far. We do not have any information that indicates there was a catalyst, whether it was inside the store before the attack or leading up to the attack that drove the suspect to come to the store. We don't have any information that substantiates that.
Do we know if the suspect is a resident of Sun Prairie?
The suspect is a resident of Sun Prairie.
Do they have past offenses?
They do not have any contact with our police department.
Because of everything that's going on right now, does this seem to be hate motivated at all?
It does not.
No more threat to the public?
Correct. So the fortunate part of the swift response from the police department and our neighboring agencies is that within a relatively short period of time, the suspect was apprehended. He acted alone. He had no co-conspirators with him during the attack, so there's nobody else that we are looking for, which is a much better situation than what it could be. to where we've been able to work out that there really isn't a standing threat to the community. He is still incarcerated and will remain incarcerated until being charged.
Do you have any expectations of when charges might be filed?
What I believe is his initial appearance is scheduled for tomorrow, and then I'll be able to find out if our referred charge at the time of booking him in last night of the attempted homicide will be charged by the Dane County District Attorney's Office.
You said several stabbing wounds. Do you have an exact number of how many?
I do not, but I do know that there were more than 5.
And then do we know where the line that they were?
Yeah, the majority of the stab wounds were along the upper back, middle back, and a portion of his head.
So does that mean that he came from behind? You don't know that yet?
I wouldn't be able to release that at this point. Frankly speaking, from the standpoint of somebody that has been involved with training, and I train our people in combat, when you're being attacked by somebody, you're probably moving your body in multiple different directions, which means that the stab wounds could be coming from a myriad of places.
And if you do find yourself in that situation, what do you do? Or if you're a bystander and you see it, like those safety tips?
So what I try to think to anytime that I speak to the public or even my family is that if you're involved, if you're witnessing one of these, become the best witness that there is out there. If you don't have any training to be able to protect yourself, if you don't have the capabilities of doing that, don't put yourself in a position that's going to get yourself hurt, and protect you and yours. But make sure that you are acting as a witness for everybody. Call 911, get us coming there as fast as possible. Another potential option that you can do is make as big of a scene as possible so that everybody else around you can also be made aware, and that also can potentially scare off the perpetrator that's doing this. Just like we were to teach in self-defense, that if you can scream as loud as you can and get people's attention, sometimes that will push off the attacker.
At the time of his arrest, did the suspect show any signs of alcohol, drug, mental illness, anything of that sort?
We're still evaluating all angles on whether or not there was anything that's going to come up as part of a toxicology, narcotics, alcohol, or mental health. All of that's still being evaluated.
Did the suspect try to resist arrest at all?
Other than refusing to come out of the vehicle once the vehicle was stopped, no.
What was the, what was the crowd like at Walmart at the time? Were there a lot of shoppers in there and it was later at night?
Comparatively to like a midday shopping experience, no, it wouldn't have been, but there were other patrons that were around when the attack happened, and obviously there were employees around.
Okay, we're all good?
Okay,
Yeah?
all right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Get ready for an improved news experience. The all-new Channel 3000 News app is here. Tailored for your news the way you want it with a customizable homepage. Stay informed effortlessly. Swipe through articles without returning to the home screen. And no more waiting. The new app loads faster than ever, ensuring you get news updates instantly. Download the all-new Channel 3000 News app today. Your gateway to news.